Welcome to the Matt Beck Podcast. Woke up this way. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's going to show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick shag, pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews, let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. It's going to be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray it, flip it.
What's up, guys?
I woke up this way.
Welcome to the show. I'm excited to spend this Friday with you guys. I got a special guest coming up real soon, Andrew Does Hair. We're going to get him on the show. But for now, I've got some fun videos lined up for you guys. So the first one that we're going to do is going to be how. That's how we woke up today. We woke up not speaking right. So I got Andrew Does Hair coming up. But for now, we're going to do a layered bang. And I'm going to show you guys how to cut 3 different bangs in one cut. So I think you guys are going to enjoy that. Then me and Andrew are going to jump on here and we're going to talk about lighting and how to get the best picture in your photos. So that should be fun as well. Really looking forward to this show. Love seeing all of you guys in the chat. So I'm seeing the chat kind of blow up here. Welcome, YouTube, Facebook. It says Facebook's online. I'm trying something new. I tried putting out a predetermined live link on Facebook. So we're going to see if that worked out. I do see YouTube in the chat. I'll go look for Facebook. It's got to be there somewhere. But I see all of you writing. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for this joining me on this awesome Friday. Kristen's here. Lynn's here. Holly's here. Roya's here. A lot of familiar names. So thank you so much. Fun show. Let's get started with the first video. This is 3 different bangs in one cut, in one technique. So I'll share that with you guys, and then we'll get started with Andrew in just a little bit. Here it is. Start off this technique, we want to create symmetry to start this whole thing. Really, the whole haircut is based on being symmetrical, not asymmetrical. So center parting to the high point of the head and then down to just right at the ear, really the top of the ear. So we're going to have a slight diagonal forward in that sectioning. Notice how I comb all the little hairs right at the scalp, nice and tight. And then I twist everything away and clip it. It's keeping everything nice and clean as we start off our sectioning in this cut. Same thing on the opposite side. So again, keeping it symmetrical. And then the overall goal of this cut is to not only have a nice symmetrical layering pattern, but also create a versatile fringe that's going to allow you to your guest to either part on the left or right or the center. So really a nice symmetrical feeling that is very versatile for the end result. So the last bit of the sectioning is pretty simple, diagonal back parting. It's going to create a point right at the occipital bone and is going to end in a triangle section right at the crown. So that's going to section off that part as well. Thing that we're going to be using in this cut is a straight razor. So this is something that you don't see a lot in my videos. I wanted to pull that out today, show you guys, it's really, there's no difference in a lot of the different razors that you're going to use. The thing I like about the straight razor is the precision aspect of it. Every single bit of that blade is going to cut the hair. So I'm using that. This is the Jatai, I believe is how you say it. Feather razor, plier feather razor. Cannot get this on freesaloneducation.com. I don't really care about that. So you can get it on the internet though. So if you want to check it out. So basically what I did is I cut a straight line using about a 1/2 inch stroke of the razor. And then this is where it gets a little fun in this technique. I didn't want to cut a ton of layers in the bottom of the hair. I wanted it to be nice and thick. So what I'm doing is I'm just combing the hair vertical straight out from the head. And then I'm just tapping through with the razor, creating invisible layers within the haircut. So I'm really just choosing how much layering I want to put in. You could cut a straight line if you want all the layers. If you want just some, then you go in with just the tip blade of the feather razor and you can get just subtle layers within the shape. So what I wanted to do is just remove a little bit of weight, create a little bit of movement on the bottom of that haircut, and that's the choice I made using this razor. So you can see that movement that's happening, but still, again, nice and thick, and everything came straight back from the head. Now I'm going to let out that triangle section, and this is where we're going to start to really build in some layers. So I take a vertical section. We're going to be working along the round of the head, and I start from the guide. The guide comes from the bottom, and I work my way up. And I'm really working 90 degrees straight off the head, or straight off the head, however you want to say it. And then I take a pie-shaped section and I shift. I'm moving with the head shape all the way around to the ear. That's going to create round layering that follows the head shape, and it's going to create a lot of nice movement. So you can see nice high elevation, medium stroke with the razor. That's going to give me a nice soft line. That's really the reason I chose to use a razor in this haircut, was I wanted that movement. I wanted those soft lines in the long hair, because sometimes when you cut blunt with a scissor, it's not as forgiving. What I love about a razor is it creates soft lines, but also precision at the same time. So you can almost see the roundness coming off the head in that technique. Now we're moving into the side and the front of the head. This is going to be, we're going to work straight over the ear, taking our guide from the back. So you'll see I pull that hair, I comb everything nice and tight to the front, pull everything straight out, and I work from short to long. Now I'm following the round of the head. Also, you lose some density when you get to the side because there's not as much hair. So you're going to start to see that shape start to work its way up the head. I'm not keeping a strong line on the bottom, not thinking about that over the outer perimeter of the haircut. I want the outer perimeter to kind of follow the head shape and work its way up towards that her chin or her jawline. So working my way up, working the 90 degrees of the head, soft stroke with the razor, creating a soft line in the haircut, and just working my way through, traveling guide all the way to the front. Another key thing I want you to see as I'm working on the head is you got to know when to stop, right? So I want to work on a fringe later. So you'll notice that I'm only going to take, not even going to take any more sections. So right there, I'm going to pause. I'm going to clip it. That's as far as I wanted to go. I got to the edge of the eyebrow. That's where I want my fringe to start. So I pause, I clip it, and now I work to the other side. Same exact thing on the opposite side, combing everything straight out, grabbing a guide from the back, and then working that medium stroke with the razor up the head shape, 90 degrees out. And I'll work my way all the way up the head until I get to that fringe area again, and then I'll pause, and then we're gonna cut into the fringe after. All right, so we let out the fringe area. So this is pretty simple. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comb everything over to me on one side. I'm gonna determine the length that I want, and that's where I'm gonna start. So I'm creating that angle on one side. So now it's gonna push that weight from the left-hand side of her face over to the right-hand side. Then I go in with the tip of that feather razor just to skinny it up a little bit, take out some of that weight, and then I do the same exact thing on the opposite side, keeping everything symmetrical, which is gonna allow her to go to either side on this haircut. Now going in and using the tip of the feather razor is gonna lighten it up a little bit, so it makes it a lot softer when she decides which side she wants to put her hair on. But you can see, you can work it back and forth whichever way you want. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow dry her hair. I'm going to show you guys the end result, but I'm also going to show you it with hair color, because I'm going to go into the hair color next. So if you want to see that, stay tuned in this video. If you would rather just do the haircut, then you can do that. This is the end result. You can see that fringe. This is off to one side. It would look the same on the other side, or in the center. It would look beautiful that way as well. So very versatile, layered haircut. Hope you guys like it. Now, if you're interested in the color, stay with me here. I'm going to walk you through that. All right, guys. So I want to pop on here, and we'll see if Andrew gets ready, but I'm not going to show the hair color necessarily unless you guys really want to see it. I can show it later, but I do want to get into hanging out with Andrew. Sorry, Andrew, that timing was a little weird because I didn't realize there was a color technique later, and we don't need to see that right now. So hope you guys enjoyed that cut. if you could do me a huge favor and share this show right now, because we got a ton of great information coming up. Here is my pal, Andrew Does Hair. What's up, man? How are you? I'm going to make sure, let me get your audio on here. There we go.
Test, watermelon, test.
You're there. You're live. What's up? Can you hear me?
Chilling. What's up with you?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Thanks for waking up early on the West Coast side. Today, we're going to share a little bit of your content and talk about last time when we did an interview, it was a little more kind of, I guess, business focused, you could say. But today, I want to get into the creative side of photos with you because I know that's a big focus of yours and you're really good at it. So we're going to share a little bit of your content to let people kind of learn from that, but also do a little bit of live stuff as well. And he just fell over. So how you doing? How's things?
Oh man, things are, as good as they can be. Like,
yeah,
the whole COVID thing, obviously, like, life's not normal, but I can't complain. I know people who are in much worse places than I am. Like,
yeah,
to me, it's just a pause. It's a huge inconvenience, but it's not going to ruin my life yet. I mean, if it goes till like winter, it'll ruin my life. But I'm good. I've just been keeping busy, coming to the office every day, and I've been making YouTube videos, just putting all my energy into that. Like, I posted something at the beginning of the lockdown trying to urge barbers and stylists to stay creative and stay productive. And I wasn't just saying it, like, I mean it. And every day I come down here, I cut a mannequin head, or I do a lecture on YouTube or whatever. And it's been good.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I have to be doing something. And so my wife, Christina, kind of reminded me yesterday, like, I'm lucky because I have this escape. Like, I'm coming here every day and I'm doing this live show. And like, so I have a focus and I have a lot of things to do. And a lot of hairdressers out there, have ran out of mannequin heads at this point, and they're just, they're kind of, I'm sure, going a little crazy. So I'm glad that, we get to come on here and do this kind of stuff. And this is stuff that we've practiced for years of not only doing hair, but being creative in other ways. And, hopefully people can learn a lot from today, just from our conversation, because it's so important, I think, to step back and, like, you're into photo work, but why I like it is because when I film myself, I see all the things I need to do better. You know what I mean? So,
right.
So that's kind of the thing that I want people to understand. Like, you don't always have to film yourself or do things to put it out there if you don't want to. You could just do it to be creative, have fun with it, and then kind of look at yourself and take a step back and see where you could be better, or, and just grow yourself that way.
To be completely honest, the biggest spike that I've had in my technical abilities as a hairdresser didn't come from going and taking an amazing class. Like, that's good for inspiration and new ideas, but the actual, like, improvement in my work, especially my finish work and my fades, came from taking photos. What I started to realize happened is, like, I would do a haircut that to my eyes was perfect, and then I'd take a photo of it, and then when I was home editing the photo, I would see something I missed. And after doing that long enough, I would start to notice the imperfection on the camera. Like, I would take the photo and then I saw the imperfection right away on the camera. And then after doing it even longer, I would see the imperfection before I even pulled out the camera. And so by photographing my work and going back and looking at the photos later, I got better at my work. I started to recognize if there was, like, on my own hair right now, there's one hair that keeps falling out of place here. And
I hear you.
Things like a single hair out of place that I never would have caught before, I started catching because I was looking at my haircuts through the lens of a photographer. And that's something, like, if you go study photography forums and things, they'll tell you, like, check the hair. It's so hard to Photoshop out little hairs. And not that I do that, but it's definitely helped me to be better at my finish work and at just making sure everything's cut more precisely.
For sure.
And I want to say also what you said earlier about having this sort of escape that you can come down here and do your work in the office. And I happen to have the same situation here. I've been telling people for years, like, you need to do photo shoots and extra work on the side of just taking clients because, well, for one, it's fun. And if it's not fun, if there's no type of hair you can do that's fun on the side, then why are you even doing hair? But
right, yeah.
something I've noticed through this lockdown is the people who, like yourself and myself, have content creation as a part of our job. We're still busy. We're still doing our thing. And the income might not be the same and the output might not be the same. I mean, people right now, I feel, are less interested in a haircut tutorial because they can't go cut hair. And so I've been trying to make content that is relevant to what you can do sitting in your house right now. But I see two types of hairstylists and barbers right now. There's the ones who have always done the extra work on the side that they can still do, whether it's making a video or writing a blog or whatever. Like Jamie Dana comes to mind. She's been busier because of this. And granted, she doesn't do hair for a living anymore, but it's so integral to growth as a hairstylist to not just do hair. I mean, I'll use Vidal Sassoon for an example. The guy didn't just sit there and do perfect haircuts alone in someone else's salon. At one point he goes, I need to open a salon. I need to open an academy. I need to start a shampoo line. And he did these other side venture things. And I realized a long time ago that if you want like success in the hair industry, you can't just cut hair. And so the people right now who just cut hair, they can't work. But the people who had other projects and side ventures can work and are still working. You know what I'm saying? And so pandemic aside, it's just so important to do those side gigs, really, because it's all connected too. Like, much like I just said, my photography helped my hair cutting. If I never got into photography, I would not have progressed as much as I have at hair cutting. And I just urge any viewers, listeners to go get a side hustle, whether it's just doing photo shoots for fun on the side, whether you're starting a podcast, whether you're writing a blog, just do something else that's hair related that isn't standing behind a chair cutting hair. And now is the perfect time to start it. Actually, if I can share some.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
So I've like very, very casually dabbled with YouTube for years now, and I've never taken it very seriously. I've never put out consistent content. And my wife and I were talking about that at the beginning of this pandemic. She goes, well, maybe this could be like the weird silver lining is like you have all the time in the world now to do YouTube content. So just go pad it up. And so I've been doing a video about every other day, and that I never would have made the time to do before. And now I have that time to do it. And so during this time, I got enough watch hours to monetize, and I've made a whole $164 on YouTube now. And so what I'm going to do actually is spend that $164 on a camera lens, and I'm going to give it away. But point being, that opportunity came to me more or less because of COVID. So while some people are looking at this shutdown as, oh, I can't do anything now, I looked at it as I'm going to get my YouTube going, and I made money doing it. Granted, very, very, very little money, but so life lesson out there, just go for it.
But that's a good thing to kind of explain to people, because people don't realize that there's money to be made other than just doing hair with your job of doing hair. And, it's just things that people can think about, because I, for one, have now thought like, maybe I don't need to buy new Vans every 2 weeks. And like, maybe I don't need to, have a nicer car, or, there's a new camera every 5 minutes that are just going to sit on that shelf back there. Like, now that's changed in my mentality. But I think for also hairdressers, like moving forward, not only should you be saving money or thinking about that kind of process, but more so, what else are we going to do, moving forward and getting good at taking photos of your work, because really the internet is your portfolio now. So I want to roll that video. It's a 1-minute video of you talking about tips for a ring light. I want to play this for everybody, because I watched it on, I don't know if I saw it on Instagram or YouTube, but I saw it and I was like, this is,
it's on both.
You nailed it. So I'm going to play that video real quick, and then we'll come right back.
The way that most of us use a ring light is to put our client in the middle and shoot straight through it. This can be great for smoothing out skin, because with the light coming from all the way around, it minimizes the shadows and pores and wrinkles. But at the same time, it minimizes shadows under the jaw and under cheekbones and across the brow, which can actually hide a lot of expression in our photos and make them look flat. So if you want to add some contours and some interest to your photo, move the ring light over to the side. This is going to sculpt your subject. You're going to create shadows on the opposite side. Now you can see cheekbones and brow movement. If your shadows are too intense, you can turn down your light, you can move it away, or you can add a $20 reflector to the opposite side. This way you can keep your contours, but kind of fill some of those shadows still so you can see what's going on. If you want your scene to appear brighter, believe it or not, you're actually going to turn down your light. This will make the camera read the rest of the light in the room as brighter.
Is that it? Oh. Okay. Sweet. Hang on. All right. So, let me bring you back your audio. So, awesome video. It's literally so short, but so to the point, and it should help people learn. And honestly, guys, that was such a fast clip. Just go to Andrew's Instagram at Andrew Does Hair, or go to his YouTube channel, and make sure you subscribe anyways, because you're putting out content quite often, which is awesome. But you know, let's talk about that a little bit. The lighting. Let's go a little more in depth with it, because people ask me constantly, what camera do I have on my face during this show? Like, that's probably the number one question I get outside of hair questions. And people don't realize that I do have a nice camera in front of me, but I also have a light here. I have a light here. I have a light over there. I have lights above my head that are just kind of mood lighting. I have accent lighting behind with a TV on. Like, all of this stuff kind of creates the picture. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, let me start at the very, very beginning. When I first got on Instagram, I just shot everything with a phone the way that anybody else would. And as my following started to grow, I had a few opportunities to be published in magazines, and these magazines requested high-res photos. I said, well, can I send an iPhone photo? And they said, no, we need like real photos. So I hired a photographer. He came out and shot my work. Cost me like $150, $200, something like that. And I was in a magazine. And then a few months later, another magazine wanted to do a feature about me, and they wanted high-res photos again. So I hired the photographer again. And after doing that twice, I was like, dude, I spent as much as what I would spend on an entry-level DSLR, like at Best Buy. So I figured, okay, I'm going to need higher-res photos in the future. So I ran out, I bought a camera, and with just like the kit lens and not knowing anything about how to use a camera, the photos literally looked identical to my phone. And that's when I got started learning about photography. And before I even took the effort to actually learn photography, I did what a lot of beginners do. And I went, oh, well, I must have not bought the right camera. So then I went and I bought a Canon 5D Mark III, which at the time was like the holy grail of Canon cameras. And it was like dominating the market. And so I spent $2,600 on a 5D Mark III. And you know what happened when I took pictures with it? They looked exactly the same. They looked like my phone. Because I didn't know about lighting. I didn't know about posing. I didn't know about composition. And so like over time, I started learning about photography. And a huge thing I learned about was compression. And so like sitting here in the shot that you have of me right now, you can see the edges of my backdrop. That's because my laptop camera here has no compression. So viewers, what compression is when a camera lens will actually take a background and make it grow in comparison to your foreground. And so if you have a little backdrop like I have and you just want it to look vast and fill the frame, you need a lens with a lot of compression. And so I started learning about photography. And at this point, I have an older iPhone because I had the latest one, but I dropped it in the lake. And so I had to downgrade. But even with my iPhone 8, knowing about how to zoom in and get that compression and how to set up the lights and everything, I can get an amazing portrait with a phone now that I couldn't have done years ago. And it took me thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours of learning about photography for me to be able to use any camera. You'll hear a saying in photography that, you know, a good photographer can use any camera and make it look good. And when you're new, you go, yeah, that's bollocks. Like, I know that it's like they say that, but they still use a fancy camera. But no, it's like absolutely the truth. And so with lighting, going back to the video and the initial question here, the subtleties of good lighting versus bad lighting are really interesting as you learn them, because it's something, for one, that you already know, but you don't know you know. It's something you already recognize, but you don't know you recognize. And so the thing is, like, the human eye, when you're looking at something with bad light, you can process it and it looks good enough in your head because of how your eyes and your brain process what you're looking at. So if you're looking at somebody out on a bright day, you can see them and you can process and understand that, oh, that's a good looking person or whatever. But a camera will just record what is exactly there, right? And so we when you look at soft light next to hard light, and then somebody paints out the difference to you, you go, oh yeah, I've seen that. Like here's a great realistic example. Have you ever noticed that the majority of selfies are taken in the car? People get in the car and then they go, oh, I'm feeling myself, and they take a picture of themselves. you have soft light on you in the car, because what's happening is the sun is hard direct light and it's putting shadows under your eyes and everything. And on the camera, that doesn't look nice. When we look at it with our eyes, we can kind of look past what's happening and process what's happening. But then when you get in the car, suddenly you go, wow, I feel like I look really good right now. And the reason you look really good is the roof of your car is blocking the direct light of the sun. And the only light that's actually hitting you is light that's coming in through the windows and the windshield. And that light is reflecting off of the world around it. So when you bounce light off of something, then that something becomes the light source, which makes essentially you have a larger light source, which falls softer. And so when I say, would you take a selfie under the direct sun or in the car? People go, no, I know that I look better in the car. We see it all the time. That's when people do their stories, is they get in the car and they do their stories because they look good in there. And so we recognize this and we know this, but it's so subtle. And it takes like you buy a camera and you run around, you take pictures of everything all day, and you start realizing some photos look like crap. They don't look as good in the camera as they look to your eyes. And I know we all struggle with that, especially at the beginning. It's like, why does it look good to my eyes, but it looks bad on camera? But then there's other times where you'll take a photo and on the camera, it looks better than real life. And so something that is subtly different to our eyes is vastly different in the camera. And with experience, you just start to recognize that and understand it. So the whole purpose for that ring light video, I did it for two reasons. One, everybody bought a ring light because somebody else bought a ring light, because somebody else bought a ring light. Nobody bought a ring light because it's the best tool for taking haircut photos. They bought it because somebody else bought it and somebody else bought it before that. I think the way it started is somebody in the hair industry had a photographer friend and they said, I want like a cheap, easy light that's good for like beauty photos. And then the photographer goes, oh, ring lights are good for beauty. But what a ring light is, it's a tool designed to flatten features to show off makeup application. It'll hide the actual contours so you can see what the contours that you painted on there. So it's a tool made for makeup, but somehow makeup and hair got meshed together as beauty, and people started going, oh, well, it's a beauty light and hair is beauty. But so what the ring light does to effectively show off makeup is it takes out all of your contours, that natural contours, but it's not visually appealing. It kind of gives you a weird deer in the headlights look, as we saw in that video. But everybody ran out and bought a ring light. And so I get messages all the time, which ring light do you recommend? And I'm like, well, honestly, I don't recommend a ring light. I recommend a softbox, which is about the same price. It's a little bit more cumbersome, but you will get shadows on the opposite side. So I did this video because people already had ring lights. The other reason I did it is all these people who do have ring lights, they default to this. I never read one blog about photography. I never watched one video about photography, but I bought a ring light. So what I'm going to do is put my model on the wall. I'm going to shoot them through the ring light. And whether or not the color temperature matches the color in the room, they're just like, oh, well, I got a ring light, so that's better. And so they do this mug shot through a ring light. And it's like the typical Instagram hair photo. It's a shiny mug shot with a shadow behind it. And it just drives me nuts that, for one, it just shows that I bought a tool, but I didn't bother to learn how to use it. And then you fall into the trap of looking like everybody else. And so that's why I wanted to put the video out there, is to give people a tool to understand how to, with the tool that they already bought, because everybody already bought one, how to be different with it. And, in social media, the key is to be different and to stand out and to have a unique look. And even bigger than social media, I think a point that a lot of barbers and hairstylists miss with their hair photos is their intention for their photo is, I did a really good haircut. I want to show the world how good this haircut is. But what does even better is if you go, I have a beautiful client. I want to give this client a photo of them that is the best photo they've ever seen of themselves. Something I kind of take some like quiet pride in, that I guess I'm admitting now, so maybe it's not quiet. Most of my clients, their profile picture is a picture I took. Every year, at the end of the year, when people post their top 9 photos or most liked photos, and they post like a grid of photos, I take so much pride in the fact that every year when that happens, my photo that I took for a client is their most liked photo. Yeah. And so the intention when I take a photo of a client is not to show how good I am at hair, but to show the world how good my client looks, and to show my client how good they look. Because what my job is really is not to make hair shorter. It's not to do the best haircut. It's not to do the coolest haircut. My job is to make the client feel freaking beautiful. And if I hand them a mirror, I can do that okay. But if I take a photo of them and it's lit right and I pose them a little bit and I show them the photo, they go, oh my God, I didn't know I could look like that. And so I kind of like blurred the line between like, well, what is my job? Okay, I'm a hairdresser, but what do I do as a hairdresser? I make people feel good. And then as I learned photography, I realized a good photo of somebody can make them feel great. And something that people resonate with kind of subconsciously, more so than a detailed photo of a close-up fade. If you're a barber, yes, that will like hit you emotionally. You go, wow, that's a good fade. But if you're an average person, and most of us want average people to look at our work and like it, right? They appeal to striking eyes in the photo. They appeal to, you know, a woman with dainty shoulders and a slim neck that looks long, and the haircut accentuates that. It's this overall composition. But point being, like, you need eyes in the photo. You need the person in the photo to have some kind of emotion on their face. Like, and when you do all of that, the photo just does so much better, because it's boring and it's common, and it doesn't translate well to take a photo that says, here's how good I am at hair. It's just like, certain people who are nerds about hair can nerd out on it. And I do post some photos like that because sometimes I'm proud of the hair that I do. But for the most part, if you look at most like viral images of hair, or go look at a hair repost page that's run by somebody who doesn't do hair that has 1 million followers, right? So there's a whole bunch of those out there. So you find like, you know, hair repost men's fashion, whatever. You will not find pictures of close-ups of the back of somebody's head. You will find pictures of guys standing there going,
Yeah. Right.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think we miss that point as hairdressers. That's the point of our content, is to show people, like, look how cool this person is. And that's like the huge key that holds a lot of hairdressers back, is they're posting pictures of their hair. I'm ranting so much. Please stop me.
No, you're good. This is all good. This is all good stuff. And it's exactly what I was hoping for. So I do. If you want, I could set up one more video, and we can talk about, we can shift in. So I think that's good for lighting. I think people, I think it's all about trial and error, right? Like, just really getting in there and trying to figure it out. But watching your content for sure, because what I love about your content is it's so specific that obviously you're not trying to get famous from it. It's so like, if a hairdresser wants to learn lighting, you know what I mean? So you're like, you really,
right.
You really
super niche down.
Yeah, for sure. So, but it's so specific for what we do, guys. So if you get a chance, go subscribe to Andrew's channel so that you get the alerts when he posts a video, because you're posting often. I get the alerts. You said every couple days. So
about every other day, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's the way also, like, people need to understand that it's even like on Facebook and YouTube and all of those different social channels. If you don't post, like, I hadn't been posting consistently on Instagram for the last week and a half. Now I post and I get way about a third of the interaction and views and everything that I did a week and a half ago when I was posting a few times a day. So you really need to be consistent, just like everything that you do, if you want to be successful with it. And like Andrew's doing, like, for me with YouTube, I was at least posting once a week back when I first started. And then it went to 3 times a week. And I felt that 3 times a week was kind of when I was growing the most, for sure. So you just got to be consistent with it. This video, I had one more pulled up. It's to do more precise haircuts. Do you want to set this up a little bit? Kind of let us know what this is all about.
Yeah, this is, I took a topic that you learn in school, that I learned in school, and went out the window. And because when I learned it in school, I didn't learn why I was learning it. They were just like, no, this is just how you do it. And after years of doing it wrong and then doing it right, I figured out why I want to do it right. And so I just did this video to try to put a different perspective on something that's commonly taught in hair, and put more emphasis on the why.
Okay. All right. So we're going to watch it real quick. It's a 5-minute video, and then we'll come back on, answer your questions, and then we'll let Andrew go for the day. So here it is.
Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about some things you can do to get more precision in your haircuts. Now, I wanted to kind of advertise it that way because typically when people talk about this, they start with the what, and then the why never ends up being all that important. So stick around. The why is you're going to have more precise haircuts. The what is boring. It's posture. And so when I was in, like, way back a million years ago when I was in cosmetology school, they taught me that anytime you're cutting hair lower on the head, you want to cut on these bottom sides of your fingers, not the top side of your fingers. But back then, for whatever reason, it was easier for me to hold hair and cut on the top of my fingers than it was to cut on the bottom. And so if the teacher was looking, I'd sit there and struggle to hold my section here and cut it the way the teacher wanted me to. But as soon as nobody was looking, I was cutting hair this way. And I see tons of professionals doing this all day. I think the reason it's easier to fall into these bad habits, we don't focus on the why. Why do you want to hold hair this way instead of this way? So the first reason that I finally decided after a few years, like maybe I should learn to cut on the bottom of my fingers, is because reaching over the head this way, lifting up my shoulder, and having to essentially bend my spine a little bit all day long for cutting hair, I started to get sore every day. And so I thought, oh, well, that's why they tell you to cut this way, because this way my back is straight, my shoulders aren't working too hard. And doing this, I was getting sore all the time. And so I was like, okay, I hurt every day after work, so I'm gonna start forcing myself to cut on the bottom of my fingers. But then after I started doing it, I realized there's a bigger, greater purpose, the big why, which is precision. So imagine this with me. If I wanna cut like that angle on the head there, and I'm holding my hair this way, and I'm bending my back to do so, and I'm flexing my shoulder to do so, and I have like 5 moving parts really from my feet to my shoulder here to hold that angle. If I'm cutting this and I'm getting tired, I'm not holding that angle anymore as I work around the head. My back hurts a little, I'm starting to get lazy. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort, and a lot of kind of like, okay, I'm gonna flex up my shoulder here. If it gets a little tired, it's gonna move. If my back gets a little tired, it's gonna move. There's a lot of, it's like yoga pretty much. You're trying to hold this difficult position without melting at all. And as you start to get tired, this angle that you thought you had, or that you used to have at the beginning of the haircut, stops being that angle as you work around. Now, if I held the hair on the bottom side of my fingers, and I kept my back straight, first of all, like the only moving point that's going to change the angle of the haircut is my wrist. And look how easy it is to do that. I'm not gonna get all fatigued trying to hold this around the head. I can keep my back straight while I cut it. And so that precision started to become apparent. I'd noticed that in my haircuts, as I'd work around the back, things just looked a little cleaner, a little more uniform than they used to. And that's when the light bulb turned on, like I need to be really focusing on my posture here. And so the takeaway, the easy way to remember this is anytime you catch yourself bending your back or lifting your shoulder to cut something, you have to change the way you're holding that something. Cut on the other side of your fingers. Now, if this is happening with your scissor hand, if you end up bending your back up here and lifting your shoulder too high, you have to change something again. So if you take your scissors and you take your thumb out of the hole, and then you reach around to the opposite side of the scissor and put it in the far side and kind of let it fall downward in your hand like this, you can actually change the positioning on the right side of your body. Let's say I'm cutting a diagonal back here, and so my left side is nice and straight and I don't have stress anywhere, and I'm just focusing on this movement with my wrist, and I'm not getting fatigued. But on my right side, in order to cut that, now I have to bend and I have to lift my elbow up. So if I take my thumb out of my scissors and I put it on the opposite side and bend the scissor down, now my shoulder can come down and I can maintain that angle very, very comfortably. So there's less moving parts. So that's the big takeaway today. If you want more precise haircuts, anytime you catch yourself bending your back, lifting your shoulder, having more moving parts than you need to have, sorry, here, let me talk to you here. Anytime you catch yourself doing that, moving, tweaking things in a way, you're going to get tired and you're going to lose that shape as you work around the head. So when you catch yourself lifting anything too much, change the way you're holding something so you can do your haircut with as little moving parts as possible. You can maintain your shape with like very little stress on your body and much greater precision.
All right. Very cool, Andrew. So, let me pull your audio back. There we go. So I actually, funny thing is, I talked about this yesterday, that same kind of hand position change within the scissor. I think I was cutting a men's haircut, and I kept shifting when I would get lower to make myself more comfortable. Some people brought up swivel scissors. I've never been a fan of swivel scissors. So just making that shift, I feel like it's more steady. Like a swivel scissor to me kind of moves around a little too much, but that's
I tried swivel scissors and they were all
they kind of flop all over the place. So just shifting your thumb and twisting the scissor, it becomes very comfortable once you get used to it. So cool video. Let me see if there's any questions. I think everybody just seems to love it. Everybody's saying great tips. So is there anything else you want to say about that? I know that one. When did you film that one? That was a while back, right? A little bit.
I don't even remember. Maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Okay, cool. So is there anything you want to add to that video?
No, I think I pretty much covered it. I actually watching it right now, I was like, I said a lot of things twice. I could have made that video half as long.
See, and that's what happens when we watch things. We're like, I wish I would have done it. It's funny because I started this show a week and a half ago. So this is the 9th episode, and I'm doing it Monday through Friday, and I'm taking old clips off my YouTube channel and replaying them and taking requests and all that stuff. So it's been really fun. But the funny thing is, watching these videos back, half of them I don't even remember making them, or I just remember like subtle details, and then like some things I say, I'm like, why am I saying it that way? So like sometimes I'm watching these videos and I actually do a brand new voiceover for them because I just don't have the same thoughts. I've learned since then different things that I would do, and it's funny, like camera angles and stuff.
Favorite. I love it when I learn something new that completely cancels out something else I had been doing. I feel like I do that often.
For sure. So do you want to let everybody know where they can follow you and everything you got going on before you head out?
I am on Instagram at Andrew Does Hair. I'm on YouTube /Andrew Does Hair. That's about it. I don't really do Twitter or any of that. And I'm not on TikTok because I'm old. I don't know. And also, I feel like I keep hearing that the government or the Chinese government is watching us through TikTok, so I'm not going to go on there. But yeah, just Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, I'm a little like, I haven't figured out TikTok yet, and I don't want to say that like out loud because even though I am, because I want to be like on every platform pushing the envelope, but I just don't until it's less dancing and more like educational. I just, that's where I'm at. But I'm just not funny enough to be on TikTok is really what it is. But
well, that's what kept me off YouTube for years is I'm like, I'm not charming enough. I need to be like funny or something. I don't know.
Well, you're doing a wonderful job, dude. I love every time a video. You're probably the only hairdresser that Ryan Teal, I like to check in on him, see how he's doing, but you are absolutely, every time a video pops up, I watch it because I value your input and expertise in different things. So congrats on that and the monetizing stuff and all of that. Like, it's just keep being consistent with it because I first off, I enjoy it. And second, it's a fun thing being on YouTube. I feel like YouTube's my favorite platform for sure. So
it's growing on me. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. So
I was going to say, YouTube's been growing on me. That's all.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because it's such longer form content, but for me, it's filmed, the right way horizontally, and it just feels more creative. And like, I feel like you can talk to your audience more. They have a longer attention span. Like when I sit down with YouTube and watch all the channels that I watch, I do it on my TV, and I enjoy it. And it's like, it's what I turn on before I actually go to the regular television. I watch all the channels that I like and see if they have new content out so that I can watch it like, a TV show. Sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah, I just started doing that for the first time ever.
Yeah.
I just started going to YouTube like daily to see what new videos are up, and I've never been like that. And I realized too, that's probably a huge key to, if I want like success on YouTube by any means, I need to be watching YouTube. I need to understand what it's like.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of your favorite channels on there? Besides ours, obviously.
I really like Tony and Chelsea Northrup. They talk about camera gear and just photography in general, but they're very, very likable, and which is crazy. They get so many haters, and I'm like, how can you hate on these people? They're just so nice. Like, I don't know.
That is the one thing with YouTube is a lot of haters. on YouTube.
Yeah, that was part of the reason I never went on there. But so funny thing is, every time I do a YouTube video, somebody makes fun of my hair. And they're like, you're supposed to be teaching hair. Look at how bad yours is. So I actually made a video about why my hair sucks and tried to spin it in a way to teach like what can make hair suck and things to avoid. And so now anytime somebody makes fun of my hair, I just send them a link to that video. Well, here's why my hair sucks.
That's hilarious. And that's funny because I just had this guy, Ethan, last night. I actually screenshot it, but it was, I'm only downvoting this video because your personal hair is awful. So
yeah, what the hell is that? That's what I hate about YouTube. It's like you can get on YouTube and be a world-class, like top of the industry hairdresser.
Yeah.
And people will shred you up if you don't have cool hair. But then you can get on YouTube and just be a good-looking guy who has good hair and get 2 million followers who want to know about your hair. Like, I can't stand that about the YouTube culture. It drives me crazy. That was like the reason I didn't do YouTube for so long.
Yeah, I just blocked those. I block them out. I block them physically, and then I block them out. I do like that about YouTube. It's very easy to just hide somebody from the channel. Like, you can get rid of them pretty quick. So
I got to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it's a button right next to their name. It says hide from channel, and you'll never see them again. So that is a good part. But all right, Andrew. Well, thanks so much for spending your morning with us. Hopefully,
thanks for having me.
I'm gonna keep having you back because I enjoy our conversation. So, all right, man. Well, take care. Say hi to the family, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take it easy.
All right, see ya. All right, guys. So Andrew does hair. Hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. I know it was a little more talk, a little less education. Well, it was a lot of education, but a little less hands in hair education. But you know, the thing I love about this show and what I want to keep going with this show is the fact that, you know, we can share artists that are super talented, share their content so that you learn quickly. Like, you know, and you can learn from them. And these are people that I look up to. And then, you know, also, you know, we can all just become friends together. So, all right, here it is. I got another video coming up. This one is going to be a simple layer haircut technique. I want to share that with you guys. So I hope you're enjoying it. Do me a favor. So this this live show, it's not a podcast. It's too visual. So we're going to do a simple layered haircut. I want you guys in the chat to please start asking some questions or just give me some reactions. I love seeing what you're thinking. Let's get those comments up. You guys destroyed it yesterday with the comments. We broke records. We reached 50,000 people on Facebook yesterday based on your shares and your comments, which was really awesome. So thank you for that. And then also FSE Now, the app, please go download that. I'm actually going to play that before. So this is the FSE Now app. It's an app that me and my wife, Christina, my business partner, my life partner, we created from the ground up. We started reaching out to developers about 11 months ago to launch this app. We finally got it going a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago now. We have over 2,000 stylists signed up already. You go on, you create a profile, you share your work in the community. We have a huge update coming. I'm hoping tomorrow, if not Monday, that's going to even change the platform even more. I basically took every social media platform that I love and combined them together into a hairdresser world living on an app. So here's a little commercial about it. Hope you guys like it. Go sign up. All right. So go download the app. You can wait till the end of the show if you want to, but make sure you just look up FSE Now or go to freesaloneducation.com and there's everything you need there. You can even sign up there. You don't even have to use the app, but go to freesaloneducation.com. All right. Cool. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Post your request, please, in the chat so I know what you guys want to see next. We got a little bit more time left in the show. So here is a simple layered haircut technique. What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. So on the video today, what we're going to focus on is cutting a face frame. Now we're going to be creating a ton of texture, which I think is pretty modern now, a little bit of a shag feel to this haircut. We're going to be cutting it with a center parting, and then also this is a great haircut for thick hair because I'm going to show you guys using the Donald Scott carving comb, which is one of my favorite razor tools just because it's so versatile. There's so much you can do with it. It has a 100% cutting side and a 50% cutting side. So we're going to use our 50% cutting side to debulk, and then we're going to use the 100% cutting side to cut our line. So we'll debulk, cut a line, and I'm going to show you guys where to do that on the head shape, where the density shifts. So that's going to be some of the key things you'll learn in this video. Excited to show it to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Let's get started. Here we go. All right, guys, so we're going to start off by sectioning straight down the center. Now the focus of this cut is to create a really nice face frame, take out some weight. We talked about that. So first things first, got to grab your guide. So I do my parting straight down the center. Then I take a little piece from my guide out of the right-hand side, and then I'm going to take another little piece out of the left-hand side, and then I'm going to cut my guideline. Now I hold that down right where I want that hair to fall, but I also don't hold it with a lot of tension. A lot of people want to pull the hair tight. Just hold it down where you want it to be, which for me it was right around the chin, and then I cut it with the 100% cut side on the razor. This is the Donald Scott carving comb. We talked about it. We do sell it on freesaloneducation.com. It's a $40 tool. It's one of my favorite razors because it has a 100% cutting side, which is what we're going to use now. So I take a diagonal forward parting, over direct the hair to me, and then I use that 100% cutting side to slide the razor over the hair to create my line. Now my line's going to run parallel to that parting. So you'll see I slide my hand down, create that angle, and then as I work down the head shape, so as I continue to take those diagonal forward partings, I start to get where the hairline drops down into the temple area. And when that happens, that's when you get more density. So when you look at where I'm cutting currently, there's not a lot of density. It's basically the forehead to the middle of the head. So now as I pull into that hairline drops to the ear. That's when I start to get a little more density. So I'm going to change up my technique, which is using the 50% cutting side. I slide that down the mid shaft to end, then I cut my line. And what that's going to do is take out the bulk from the mid shaft area to create just a little bit sleeker feel to the end result, to the layers. So you can see I 50% cut it, and then I 100% cut the line. Just keeping that same angle, same elevation, wrapping the hair all the way around the head till you run out of hair. So, and then I glide through there with the razor and give it a cut. So you can see that shape that we really created. We push the hair off the face. So for me, there's three different types of haircuts. There's open haircuts, which is opening up the face, pushing the weight back on the head. And then there's a closed haircut, which is pushing the weight towards the face. And then you have a balanced haircut, which is balancing the weight throughout the haircut, no over direction, just coming straight out from the head. So using an open layered haircut technique, it's really great for medium to longer hair to really make that hair kind of flow off of the face, so it's not hiding your guest's face. So keeping that over direction, working my way all the way to the hairline, right at the temple area. Then when I get that extra density in there, that's when I go in with that 50% cutting side, take out 50% of it, then I go through and cut my line. Just gives me a nice sleek feel to this haircut. So one thing I want you guys to think about when you have your guest in the chair is that everybody's head is different. So I'm saying that this is a great haircut for high density hair. We're doing the 50% cutting side, but I'm not necessarily going to do that on every single head. Everybody's densities are different, so really focus on your guest's density. If they don't have high density, then don't do the 50% cut side. Just do the haircut the rest of the way, the same way I'm doing it. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to style this haircut so you guys can see the end result. I'm using Paul Mitchell Neuro Style Reshape. It's a memory styler, so basically means that I'm going to style it this time, and then if she sprays a little water in her hair, re-blows it dry or whatever, it's going to stay in the hair and help her restyle it whenever she wants. I'm going in with Paul Mitchell Pro Tools Blow Dryer. Give me a little bit of volume, nozzle off so that I can get that extra volume in there. And I work the hair till it's about 80% dry. And then I go in with my paddle brush and I kind of work the hair mid-shaft to ends to really pull some smoothness to it because that's what I'm looking to do in this cut. So I don't want to just open up the cuticle and toss it around. I want to blow it dry, power it dry, so I'm not spending a lot of time on it, and then go through, smooth it out with the paddle brush. And then I've got the California Dreams new iron from Paul Mitchell that they sent me. It's totally my color. And I'm going to use that to style it. I love using a wand to style the hair. I go through, I roll it back away from the face. We did an open haircut to open up the face. So I go in with the wand and I pull the hair back off the face. It's just going to help create that style, really showcase that end result. I'm going to finish it off with Invisible Wear Undone Texture Hairspray, create some texture, really get my hands into it once that that curl has set. And you could see that shape. Like, here's the thing that I love. What you'll see is how it builds up that volume on the top, but then in the sides it gets nice and sleek. I understand the ends look a little weak. It is a mannequin head. I wanted to leave the length so it looks long, but on your guest, obviously she has shoulders. It's going to look a little bit different. Hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments. Whoa, buddy. Whoa, buddy. Trim that one real quick. All right, so welcome back to the show. Hope you guys enjoyed that layered haircut. I'm really enjoying, so I found a new way to kind of cut out the nonsense in videos quickly. So as you guys request things, I can figure that stuff out. Let's see. Did you guys see Ergo Brush's giveaway 3 full brush sets on Insta? That's pretty awesome. So Ergo brushes are my favorite brushes, obviously. We sell them on Free Salon Education, and they're doing a giveaway on Instagram. So go rush over there after the show. Not now, after the show, and sign up. Love it, love it. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Roya. Farzan. I like that. That's a fun one. Crystal, love the cutting comb. So the cutting comb is a Donald Scott carving comb. It's available on our website, freesaloneducation.com. Just click the shop and it'll take you there. All right, guys. So I got another haircut coming up. This is actually inspired by, I think it was a movie, maybe 2 years ago or so, 3 years ago, Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's a really nice, sleek. It's almost like Andrew Does Hair's haircut that he just had while he was on the show. So I have that pulled up. If there's anything else that you guys want to see within the show, I got about one more video that I could probably play before we end this thing. So let me know in the comments what you want to do. To those of you guys that say you're having issues, there's 1 or 2 people saying they had issues signing in to the app or signing up on the app. Most of the time, what I've found with the issues is that somebody's getting a spam email from the verification email. So when you sign up on your profile, you get a verification email sent to your email inbox, and that sometimes goes to spam. So just look for it deeper there. And then the other issue that one person had was they were in the UK and the phone number didn't work. In the UK, I believe they have a 0 at the beginning of the phone number. I don't know if that's everybody, but this person did. You just have to take that 0 off. We don't need the 0 to sign up. So that's that one. Can we do a lob next week? How about we do a lob right now, Lynn? I've been waiting for a request the whole show, and Lynn came and saved the day. We're going to do a lob first, and then we're going to do the Leo cut last, and then that'll be the show. So let's do that. Lynn, thank you so much for the request. That's what this show's all about. What do you guys want to learn? I want to share it with you. Here is a really fun lob haircut done on dry hair. Some of you guys may have seen it. This is a quick 4-minute, 50-second video, so it's not super long. Using one of my favorite dry cutting techniques, so here it is. Today I've got a fun cut for you guys. This one is going to be a long bob, like extra long. It's going to be all dry cutting. So the way that we're going to start it off is I go a little bit above occipital bone, kind of straight with the jawline, and I start by cutting a blunt line. And now my blunt line is in a triangular form, so it kind of follows that jawline as well. And so you can see a really good shot of it here. So it starts off a little shorter up by the nape in the very center, and then it gets longer towards the edge. And then what I do is I go through and I do a tease cutting technique, which is a half open, half close of the scissor. I'm using the Matt Beck Scissor version 1. Yes, I got my own scissor created by Mizutani, but it's mine. I designed the whole thing. So if you guys are looking for that, it is for sale. It's in stock and shipping, 5.5 inches, and it's really great for dry cutting and wet cutting. So I'm going to show you guys the versatility of it in this cut. Everything is being over directed straight back to the center point. So I over direct everything straight back, I cut it, and you can see how those the layers get longer and longer towards behind the ear, and then I go through and I define it. So I think a lot of people worry about that outer perimeter, and I talk about this a lot, but you can't worry about the outer perimeter when you're cutting the interior part of the cut. So just focus on getting your shape right on the interior, and then go out and cut that perimeter later. So when I start off the cut, I do more of a tight tease cutting technique. It's very small strokes with the scissor. When I go to this longer portion of the cut, I'm trying to create a little more freedom and air in the shape. So I do a heavier stroke or a longer stroke with the razor, and I go in and still half open, half close, but you are cutting a line. So I bring everything straight back from the head. It's not going to the center back of the head. It's going straight back, and I cut it, and you can see that line that we're creating. It's that asymmetrical A-line shape in the very front, but look how long it is. So this is a great haircut for that client that it's kind of afraid of change, but they're looking for something new. They could still hit a curling iron on it. They could still pull it back into a ponytail if they wanted to. It'd be a small one, but they could. So go through tease cutting technique, over directing everything back, and really making it pop. Also, this color is part of this collection as well. So if you want to see the color technique, go to FSE On Demand. You can see the full collection on there. It's all put together. 3 colors, 3 cuts, and they're all dry cuts. So still over directing everything back and cutting with that tease cutting technique. If you guys are wondering how to do the tease cutting technique, just hit the search button and type in tease cutting. Done many videos on this technique, but it's really simple. It's a half open, half closed. So as you go into the hair, you close the scissor halfway, and then you bring it back out. Now I'm going through with a point cutting technique. This is only because when you do tease cutting, especially with a heavier stroke, you get a pretty frayed it's like doing a super extreme point cut, right? So I go in with actual point cutting, and I just clean that edge up to get a nice clean shape to the haircut. So tease cutting is like a fast way to go through and get your shape, but then point cutting kind of helps refine it a little bit. Like I said, my scissor is really versatile for doing dry cutting and wet cutting. That's why I wanted to put out a whole dry cutting collection, because you know, a lot of people are asking, like, what's a good all-around scissor? Well, I have definitely created that at this point. So now I'm doing slide cutting. So pretty much this entire haircut is a half open, half close. I go through, I pinch the hair where I believe I want it to blend. And even this has a lot to do with the hair color, because I just want to showcase some of that peach coming through. So I create some more layering to show that off. So now I hit it at the end with a wand iron facing down, and I just kind of curl everything off of the face. And then I'm going to hit it with the Joico Beach Shake Spray, which is a texture spray. So once you get those curls in the hair and you put this product on it, it just brings the whole texture to life. It's also great for curly hair as well. So, but you can see how much texture gets created in that. Hope you guys like the cut. Remember, if you want to pick up my scissor, go to freesaloneducation.com. You can check it out on there. Thank you so much for watching. All right. So here's the thing. So I saw your request in the chat, and some people wanted me to slow it down a little bit. So what I figured was I would grab a mannequin real fast, and I would do a little bit of impromptu tease cutting for you guys. So let's see if I can get the mic over here. All right, so key things to tease cutting. One of my favorite things to do. This is definitely one of my favorite techniques. So what I do is you take the hair and you put it in the scissor. So you grip it, pinch the hair with your hand, and then you put the scissor half open, half close, just like this. And then I close halfway and move the scissor forward. So I close halfway, move the scissor forward just like that. So as I put it in the hair, half open, half close. Let me go like this. So just like this, I take a section, vertical. This just gave me an idea, by the way, for next week. I'm totally going to put like a little education center over there so I can just break out techniques for you guys. All right. So I hold the hair out just like this, and I put the scissor half open, half close. And as I push in, I'm half closing, which cuts the hair. And then I come back out, and then I half close in, and then I come back out, half close in, come back out. And I just keep working just like that, slowly gliding through the hair. And what that gives you, so let me finish this section. And what that gives you guys, hair on the carpet, is a really shattered, this mic's crazy, is a really shattered, broken line, which to me is awesome because here's what happens. As hairdressers, let's see where we're at with this. And this little piece of hair, look at that guy. What happens as hairdressers is we get so focused on cutting precision hair, but precision hair takes hours to perfect and get everything perfect, right? So if you cut that perfect bob, like this lob that we cut, which hopefully you guys enjoyed. I didn't see the chat on that, but hopefully you guys like that cut. Now, that falls so soft, still has shape, but falls really soft. I could have cut a precise lob, a precise long bob, and then went in and spent 15 minutes texturizing and skinnying it up and doing all that stuff. Things like the tease cutting technique or using a razor. The reason I like using those so much is because then the end result is already what it is. So when we look at efficiency in the salon, being able to push more guests through, but give them great results, the razor, tease cutting, all of these special techniques that are kind of, a lot of people don't learn. Like you should learn these, I think, in beauty school, but a lot of people don't learn them. So I think that should be basics coming out of school, should be how to do those techniques so that you get those soft results. So that's it. So I hope you guys like that. I got one more haircut for you guys. This is a men's haircut. Not much to say about it. It's a nice, very clean cut. It's got a part to it. I think you guys are going to like it. Tons of techniques involved in it. So here is the cut. Enjoy. All right, guys. So the most important part of this haircut is the parting. So making sure that you place that part exactly where you want it. We're going to go just above parietal ridge on the left-hand side. We're going to use our Mizutani DB20 scissor for the haircut. It's a 5.7-inch scissor. This is pretty much my workhorse scissor. It's got the ball bearing screw, works really smooth. So if you guys don't have a scissor, definitely check it out on Free Salon Education. I'm going to go through. We're going to start by creating our round layers. So I'm following. I just cut my guideline right in the sideburn area. And now I'm going to go through. I'm going to follow that guide. It's definitely going to be a traveling guide throughout the haircut because we're creating those layers and we're working diagonal back on the head. I'm using the wide teeth of my comb because I want a little bit of freedom in the tension, but you don't want to work with too wide of teeth because you might lose your lines throughout the haircut. So this is a 334 comb from YS Park. I really dig that comb for this cut. So working diagonal back, taking small sections, small partings, making sure that as I'm working through, I can always see my guide. And if you can see right there, I scoop up a little bit of the old and I bring in the new. So I don't want to take all of the hair that I cut below it. And when you start doing that, what happens is you drop your elevation too far and then you build up way too much weight. The great thing about this haircut, the thing I love most about it is how soft it falls and how it kind of blends itself into the back. So you don't want to take too much, you don't want to create too much graduation in this cut. So that's why we call it a round layered cut. So keep that elevation nice and high. Hardest thing about cutting a round shape is just staying consistent as you work your way around the head. Because if you think about when you're cutting triangular or you're cutting square, most of the time your body is staying in one position as you make your cuts. When you're cutting round, you're constantly moving around the head, so it's a lot harder to stay consistent with your body position and all of that. So really, key things to focus on is your elevation throughout this cut. Make sure that every time you pull that hair out from the head, it's exactly how high you wanted it to be. I tend to, when I get inconsistent with this type of cut, it's because you're constantly keeping your elbow in the air, and your elbow wants to drop the entire time. So as long as you keep focused on where that arm is that's holding the hair, you're going to be good to go. So we wrap the round part of the shape. We follow the head shape all the way down into the nape. But my key focus right now is pretty much from the crown down to the occipital bone. What's happening in the nape I don't really care about yet because I'm going to go back through and we're going to kind of crisscross when I hit the other side of the head. So the key things I'm focusing on are definitely the crown all the way down to occipital. So you can see my elevation is a little bit lower at this point. The reason it's lower and what that's going to do for me is it's building up the weight in the crown area. So it gives a nicer shape to your head shape. If you take the layers way too far up there, then you're going to lose that shape in the haircut. So from a side profile view, the haircut's not going to look as good. So working into the nape. But again, like I said, that's not really my worry because I'm already going to go through and recut that again when I hit the other side. Bringing everything straight out to me. I really didn't want to skimp on this haircut at all. I wanted to show you guys pretty much every single section that I cut because I think it's useful and because our elevation does shift and change throughout the haircut. What I was trying to show you guys right there was the key part of this because you start to work in. A lot of people want to over direct it towards the opposite side, which is going to grow too much length and weight to the right side. So I want to make sure I keep my elevation nice and high when I hit that corner. Now we're going to work our way back exactly the same way. I guarantee I'll get this question about how do I make sure that both lengths are the same. I started off with pretty much finger length hair, so I know that both sides are going to be similar. I'm also going to go through at the very end and do some scissor over comb, so that will help blend it as well. So it's just making sure that the lengths are very similar. Once you get this first section cut, you can always go through and just stand in front of the client that you're working on and make sure that the sides match up before you move on. So you can see my elevation. It is nice and high, but if you were really technically looking at this, you would say that there is a slight buildup of weight throughout this cut. So it could be a graduated haircut as well. You'll see that weight line now definitely because as the head is peeling away and I keep bringing down this hair towards myself, I'm building up that weight and kind of showing off the head shape with this haircut. During this cut when I was filming it, it's definitely difficult to get that angle, so I'm glad it kind of turned out. Hope you guys saw it well enough. So we're going through. This is where we're blending both sides. So I did talk about at the beginning on the left-hand side of the head that we would end up crisscrossing. So what happened there was we crisscross, we connect the two corners, and now I'm going through and I'm just cross-checking real quick. So I went diagonal forward or diagonal back with all of the haircuts, so now I'm going diagonal forward to cross-check. Now we're going to work into the crown. This is going to be on top of my fingers, just connecting from the guide from below and working those pie-shaped sections around the crown of the head. You can see my finger angle kind of works its way up. So when we get to the actual parting, where the parting is on the head, that's going to be the longest point. So shortest point is where we're connecting it. Longest point is at the part. You'll be able to see that angle a little bit better here. Sorry, that was right on the edge of the camera. And that is the wet part of the cut. When I blow it dry, I like to use a comb. pretty much any short hair, I like to use a comb. This is the 332 comb from YS Park. I'm going to use that for all my scissor over comb, along with my Mizutani Solids, which is a 7-inch scissor, just to go through and get a nice scissor over comb feel and taper in the sides just a little bit. Working the back blade, the steady blade along the ear, just so that I don't cut anybody, and I can go through and just take out that long hair around the ear, detail it up. Same thing on the opposite side, keeping that steady blade against the bone of the comb and working my way up the head and then detailing around the ear. All right, we're going to use Roozle. This is the blue Roozle. It's a really nice firm hold pomade. So it's going to give that kind of wet look to the hair, but it also has a nice hold, so you don't have to worry about some pomades are really wet. This one's not wet whatsoever. So we'll work that through the hair, get that parting right, and then this is our end result of the haircut. And there you go. There's our men's round layer haircut inspired by Leonardo DiCaprio.
All right. So there you go, guys. That was a fun one. I love the cleanliness of that cut, and I think a lot of the tips that I want you guys to walk away with from that is cutting in your fingers, detailing, doing the scissor over comb work. Practice your scissor over comb if you're not great at it. It's a great technique for you guys. Awesome. I want to go through the comments now real quick. Let me figure out how I can get them up on here. And today, guys, so if you want to get your comment to show up on the show, then make sure, there it is. Make sure that you are watching on YouTube, because for some reason the YouTube's working the best. Eventually on Facebook, but I do have some questions from Facebook, so I'm going to answer Brenda first, because people were shouting out, Brenda's got a question. Brenda's got a question. All right, Brenda. Here it is. Most clients don't want their face shown, and she's talking about in photos earlier when I was on with Andrew. So first things first, if a client doesn't want their face shown in a photo, that doesn't mean that you can't take a great photo. But here's the deal, and what I think Andrew was saying as well, and I would totally agree with it. And if this wasn't what he was saying, it's my opinion. But I think that the great pictures that you're going to get are clients that want their picture taken. So you don't need to get pictures of every client, just the ones that are photogenic, that have fun. And I think that's what Andrew was saying with like somebody that you can really showcase, them in a great way, right? So that's what we need to get better at is learning to take a great picture of our clients to show them in the best light. And if you get a great picture of a client, they're going to love it. And maybe they don't normally like pictures, but if you're good at taking them, you can make them look good. And like Andrew was saying, then it becomes their profile picture. They tell their friends about who took the picture. So it's a bigger thing than just, taking a picture of a client, throwing it up on the internet. Make sure that even if they don't want their picture taken, you could say, I've been practicing lighting and I want to try something, and I think it would really work and look nice on you. And you could say that to them, and then take the picture, edit it, send it to them, and see what they think before you post it. Say, I'm not going to post this. I just wanted to try something. Those kind of conversations. If you don't have that bond, or that you haven't built up that friendship with your client, then obviously you're probably not going to, you're not going to just kind of beg them and ask them. So be smart about it, have common sense about it, but try to learn first. Grab a mannequin and take photos of a mannequin first. Get good at lighting. Figure out what time of day lighting works best. Like if I come in here to do this show, if it's a really sunny day out, I have a really hard time because I have windows right in front of me, and those windows pump light in. But like today, it's raining, and so it's perfect because I got barely any light coming in. So I have a light above me, which is a softbox, which we were talking about. I have a couple like kind of accent lights coming onto my face. I have warmer lights on top of me. I don't think you can see any of those. Nah. I have warmer lights on top of my head, all across my ceiling. So it just creates this vibe. So you play with lighting, have fun with it. And then once you're good at it, you'll have a lot more clients that just want to get photos from you. All right, let's see. What other questions do I have? Oh, I was like, I got to add this in. Here we go. 1 second, guys. Hold your horses. I was like, those comments look like they were from yesterday's show. And they were. Paste. All right, it's bringing them in. Okay, so Tiffany, thank you. I feel like that mannequin's creepily reminding me of, what does Kristen say? I feel like that mannequin of one of my guys that wears that same cut. Haha, that's funny. Hairdressing says lovely, thank you. Roya, thank you. TM hairstyle. So what are some new trends coming up in hair? So first off, this has got to be a loaded question because we don't really know where people are coming out of this apocalypse thing looking like. So I do think that from a trend standpoint, I have a thought on trends, and I think a lot of times it used to come from like, what are celebrities doing? Now I feel like a trend is more what looks best on the individual, because I think trends back in the day were kind of more for, because they were acceptable ways of kind of pushing forward. Does that make sense? So like, people would get like a long bob because it was the trend and everybody was doing it. Now I think people are being a little more individual and they want to be more individual. So I think the trend for me is, pulling out of the guest what they love and what they want and what cut's going to look best on them, because that creates a trend on that person. Like instead of Jackie getting the, you know, whatever haircut. I'm so bad at celebrities, but let's just say like Jackie getting the Katy Perry haircut and color, like she's not going to get the Katy Perry haircut and color. She's going to get the Jackie cut and color, and it's going to fit her. Katy Perry's going to get the Katy Perry. Does that make sense? So that's my thought on that. Let's see. John, very interesting. Thank you. I think that's a good thing. All right. Lynn, cool. I think I got everybody's stuff. There's always questions as soon as what models are good when people have a lot of hair? Sorry guys, I'm just reading. I just want to make sure I get all your questions before I leave for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? All right, I think I got everybody, because we slowed it down. We showed you the technique. What was your favorite part of the show? So that, what do you want to see next time? I'd like to see that in the comments. Even if you're watching this later and we're not live anymore, post ideas that you guys want to see come Monday, because I'll be back here live Monday again. Oh, Peggy. Yeah, so Peggy asks here, I forgot she had this question. So she said, are you going to stay live maybe in the evening when we go back to work? Love your show. Don't want to miss it. So here's the answer to that. I'm definitely going to stay live. This show, I think, is one of the best things that's come out of, you know, for me, the whole COVID thing is getting more consistent doing this show. I also see a big future for this show because I see the reaction from you guys, which is helpful. And I also see that hair shows, I've always felt that hair shows are kind of have run their course a little bit and they're a little dull, and like, so when I go to them, like I think as a new student coming out of school, it's great to go to a hair show because it's fun and, you know, you get to feel the environment. But as you become older and like more established in hair, like I feel like hair shows become very repetitive. So I've been looking, what is the alternative to that? And I think that this could be a really great alternative. So the big picture of this show is that, you know, you guys helped me grow it by sharing it and doing all of that, which I love. before the show even went, I love getting the notifications. All of you guys sharing it on your Instagram stories and Facebook and all of that, just sharing it out there and tagging me in it. So that's like number one. I love that. And then I really feel like we've kind of tested some waters this week with having Andrew Carruthers, and Andrew does hair on. I talked to Jamie Dana. She's going to come on maybe next week. That would be cool. But showcasing artists like Andrew and like both Andrews and all of that, and Sam Villa giving us the library. Like, I feel like brands will eventually jump onto this show the bigger it gets, and we'll have even more education that we can share. We can bring artists in. I love the idea of sharing their tutorials because it's something that they've chopped up that they feel is very valuable. We can preview it, so I know it's good information for you guys. It just, to me, this is like the hair show of the future, I believe. So you guys are in the beginning of it, which I really appreciate, and it's grown all week. Like I said, we reached 50,000 people yesterday on Facebook, which is bigger than any hair show. So I think it's the future. I just need to get the content, which is what I'm going to keep working on. And you guys, if you could, for me, do me a favor and just share it. That's all I ask. And download the app, FSE now. That would be great. Seems to be the new norm. I'd like to request a bob with a flat back or really stacked. Mine always turn out like a mushroom. They turn out great. Everyone loves it, but I want more stacked and can't seem to get it. All right, that's a cool one. We could do a stacked bob for sure. I don't see why not. Maybe I'll remake. I've made videos about a stacked bob, but those are pretty old. So maybe I can make a new one next week, and we'll focus on that. We still need to have the Bob show, which you guys kind of requested this week, and maybe we'll just do a show talking about bobs the whole time, different ones. Stella, thank you, appreciate that. So doing the men's cut rounded, will it change if the head has more of a slope than a roundness? So that, Sheena, I think. You guys can tell me if I'm right on that. Let's see if I can. Here it is. I'll pull that comment up. So doing the men's cut rounded, will it change if there's more of a slope than a roundness to the head shape? I think that doing that cut, so what we did was we followed the round of the head. If it has more of a slope, what I would do is just, no matter what, continue. So if they're more rounded, I might cut more to the round because of the way the head shape works. If they are more sloped, they have a more sloped head shape, I want to create the appearance of a round head. So what I'll do is I'll come off of the head here, and I'll come more of an angle. Oh, there we go. This is why you can't cut your hair in a mirror by yourself. It's silliness. So I come off of the head and I come out more rather than up more. And when I come out, that builds up the weight in this area of the head. So it gives the appearance that they don't have a sloped head. That's what I would do. Thank you guys for sharing that it's FSE now. Yes, it is. So I'm going to share with you guys what the app is so that you guys know, and then we're going to take this show out of here. So here is the app. Take a look. Yep. So there's the app. So go download the app right now. The show's over. It's Friday. That doesn't really mean. I just wanted to say it like that. It doesn't really mean anything. it means something in Georgia, but right now we got to work our way up. We're hopefully going to find out more about opening some salons next week. We'll see how that goes. Super excited for the future of this show and the future of the hair industry in general. A lot of good things are going to happen. So, it can only go up. It can only go up. And so can your shares on this show. I'm just kidding. All right. So, let me see. Where's my closing statement here? There it is. All right. So, glad you guys enjoyed the show. What do we say at the end of the show? And before we go to the weekend, what's it going to be today? It's going to be a great day. Thank you guys so much. Can't wait to see you on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon.
It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it. Let me show you the way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, flip it, spray it, flip it.